8:45, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj, read by Soundithavam. The President emphasizes that in the journey of the country's modern agri-economy, the Mahaweli A and B zones should be developed at a rapid pace. Opposition leader says the SJB as a responsible opposition has clearly understood the gravity of the economic crisis and proposes healthy solutions to overcome these challenges. State Minister tells the IMF that the government is ready to make ongoing economic reforms a law. The Parliamentary Solidarity Forum focuses its attention on the present situation of the Dulapatana village located in the Mahaweli South Zone. The COPF recommends deferment of CBSL salary increase. Partily elected chairman of Ways and Means Committee for the second time. Sri Lanka sees spike in tourist arrivals this year. 3 criminal gang members arrested in special STF raids. In news overseas, South Korean tanker capsizes off Japan and 8 crew members dead. In sports, school cricket, Joe's out to end 15-year wait in Battle of the Saints. President Ranil Wickremesinghe insists that in the journey of the country's modern agri-economy, the Mahaweli A and B zones should be developed in a rapid pace. The benefits of this project should reach the common masses. The President made these comments at a ceremony to mark the 82nd birth anniversary of late Minister Gamini Dissanayake. The function was held near the statue of late Gamini Dissanayake, which is located at Ananda Kumaraswamy Mawatha, Colombo, this evening. Addressing the audience, the President further said, if the late Gamini Dissanayake did not implement the Mahaweli project, today, Sri Lanka could not have achieved the self-sufficiency in rice consumption. Further, the country would have suffered a lot due to a lack of sufficient electricity supply. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said the SGB as a responsible opposition has clearly understood the gravity of the economic crisis and proposes healthy solutions to overcome these challenges. Mr. Premadasa made these comments at a meeting held with the IMP representatives this afternoon at the parliamentary complex. The opposition leader promised that his party will take every possible action for the sake of the country and strengthen the economy of the common masses. The opposition leader also stated that the income of about half of the population has dropped to low income level. Therefore, the low-income families should be empowered with livelihood provisions. Sri Lanka's State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe has assured that the economic reforms being implemented will not be disrupted by the coming elections and that the government is ready to make the ongoing reforms the law of the country. The State Minister had stated this during a discussion with the IMF's Executive Director for India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Bhutan, Professor Krishnamurthy V. Subramaniam. During the discussion, ensured that the reforms implemented will not be disrupted with elections being announced and the government is ready to make the ongoing reforms the law of the country, which demonstrates their dedication to stability and sustainable growth, he said in a post on X. Semasinghe further said that wide-ranging topics were discussed around the current IMF program, and attention was also paid to the challenges in digitizing the tax process. He said it was pointed out that the government has taken steps to increase the number of tax files, which had decreased due to various policy decisions, to approximately 1 million at present. Meanwhile, the State Minister of Finance has also held a discussion with the Deputy Chief Economist at the UK's Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, Dr. Fergus Cumming, and the British High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Andrew Patrick. He said the discussion delved into various aspects of current economic trends, exploring their implications and identifying emerging challenges and opportunities, particularly in the context of post-crisis recovery efforts. The Committee on Public Finance, COPF, has recommended that the Central Bank of Sri Lanka defer the salary increase until a mutually acceptable solution is reached on the matter. This is mentioned in the COPF report on the Central Bank Salary Revision 2024 to 2026 presented to Parliament by the committee's chairman, Dr. Harsha De Silva, today. The COPF compiled this report on the recent salary increase of the Central Bank staff members upon a request made by President Ranil Wickremesinghe in his capacity as the Finance Minister. The request came about after several MPs raised this issue in the House, joining the general outcry opposing the steep salary increase. In its recommendations, the COPF says the Finance Minister should with immediate effect appoint an independent remuneration committee with the concurrence of the Central Bank Governor to review the salary increase under discussion. The COPF also recommended that a report on the same be submitted within 4 weeks and that the Central Bank defer the salary increase until a mutually acceptable solution is arrived at based on the findings of the report. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Owing to President Ranil Wickremesinghe's economic initiatives and the peaceful environment fostered within the country, the arrival of foreign tourists has arisen. Airport and Aviation Services Sri Lanka Limited Chairman Atula Galkachia said. Consequently, the Bandaranaike International Airport, Katunayake, has seen a notable increase in air passenger usage. The chairman said that from January 1st to March 19th, 2024, the number of air passengers who utilized the BIA services amounted to 850,000. He noted that it is anticipated approximately 10 million passengers will utilize the airport by the end of this year. The total number of passengers using the BIA in 2022 was 5 million, with the projected increase to 8 million in 2023, the chairman said. Member of Parliament Patali Champika Ranawaka was once again unanimously elected as the chair of the Committee on Ways and Means. He was appointed when the committee met for the first time today, and his name was proposed and seconded by members of Parliament Wasantha Yapa Bandara and Lasantha Alagiyawanna, respectively. The Police Special Task Force STF, in a raid conducted yesterday night, has managed to arrest 3 suspects involved in organised crimes. Accordingly, a close associate of the infamous gangster Keselwatte Dinuka, identified as Tarindu Ruan Kumara, was apprehended in Borella. The STF personnel found 6.5 grams of heroin on the suspect at the time of the arrest. Meanwhile, Ahmed Jeffrey, Ahmed Rizwan alias Goda Rizwan, a member of the notorious criminal figure Kanjipani Imran's gang, was arrested in Maligawatta along with 6.4 grams of heroin. And that concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
The Parliamentary Solidarity Forum focuses its attention on the present situation of the village located in the Mahaveli South Zone known as Divulapatana. The forum also paid attention in safeguarding the national heritage through taking necessary steps to protect the heritage sites of these villages. A meeting of the Solidarity was convened recently under the chairmanship of parliamentarian Vasantha Samaravira. The Solidarity focuses attention to solve the conflict between the Sinhala community and Tamil dairy farmers in the village, and that came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Watch Live is brought to you by
CIB New Year offer. Valuable gifts and gift vouchers. 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
An analysis of over 20,000 US adults found that people who limited their eating across less than 8 hours per day, a time-restricted eating plan, were more likely to die from cardiovascular disease compared to people who ate across 12 to 16 hours per day. This is according to preliminary research presented at the American Heart Association's Epidemiology and Prevention Lifestyle and Cardiometabolic Scientific Sessions 2024 from March 18 to the 21st in Chicago. The meeting offers the latest science on population-based health and wellness and the implications for lifestyle. Time-restricted eating, a type of intermittent fasting, involves limiting the hours for eating to a specific number of hours each day, which may range from 4 to 12 hour time window in 24 hours, and came to you in Watchlight.
CIB New Year offer. Valuable gifts and gift vouchers. 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
Coming up, World News.
Making headlines tonight, South Korean tanker capsizes off Japan and 8 crew members dead. Residents of Kueki, Japanese city, visit graves on spring equinox. Micronesian officials see benefits from economic partnership with China. The Japan Coast Guard says 8 crew members of a capsized South Korean-flagged tanker have died. The ship with 11 crew members on board overturned on Wednesday morning in the waters off western Japan. 1 crew member has been rescued. A search is underway for 2 others still missing. The Coast Guard says it received a distress signal at around 7 a.m. from the chemical tanker Koyungsum near Mutsujima on island in the Yamaguchi prefecture. Coast Guard officials say the tanker had been at anchor due to rough weather. People in quake-devastated Wajima City, central Japan, offered their prayers at their family graves on Wednesday to mark the spring equinox. The day is a national holiday that falls in the middle of the Buddhist Higan period, when people remember their deceased relatives. The graveyard of Jomyoji Temple in Wajima suffered extensive damage from the New Year's Day quake. More than 2 months on, many of the gravestones remain toppled or dislodged. An official from the Federated States of Micronesia says his nation values its relationship with China in terms of its economic partnership, which benefits its people. Acting Secretary of Justice Lenito Bacalando Jr. spoke to NHK in Tokyo on Wednesday. He is visiting Japan to attend a meeting of defense ministers of Pacific Island nations. Bacalando called Japan an important partner of the Pacific Islands and said there are a lot of opportunities and areas that we can explore. And back to the headlines of the world news. South Korean tanker capsizes off Japan and 8 crew members dead. Residents of quake-hit Japanese city visit graves on spring equinox. And Micronesian officials see benefits from economic partnership with China. With that, we conclude this bulletin of world news.
Development news.
The Indian government has agreed to grant provided of $61.5 million to fully develop the port of Kankesanture. This is revealed by the Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, during a recent meeting between the Minister of Ports, Shipping and Aviation, Nimal Siripala de Silva, and the Indian High Commissioner at the Ministry Office. As part of the project, a new breakwater will be constructed and the port will be dredged up to a depth of 30 meters to accommodate deep raft vessels. Well, that came to you in development news. We take a look at sports news next.
Moving on with sports news.
2 leading Colombo Catholic schools, St. Joseph's College Maradana and St. Peter's College Bambalapitia, will meet in their 90th Battle of the Saints big match, which will be played on March 22nd and 23rd at the SSC ground starting at 9:45 a.m. Out of the 89 matches fought for the Reverend Father Maurice Legoc Memorial Trophy, the Josephians lead the tally with 12 wins. Their last victory was achieved in 2008 under the leadership of Ruanta Fernandopulle, and after 15 years, St. Joseph's is searching for a victory this time. St. Joseph's has produced a lot of national players, including Sri Lanka captains Angelo Matthews and Dimuth Karunaratne. Tisara Pereira and legendary paceman Chaminda Vas also captained a few Sri Lankan matches. In fact, Vas, the most successful Sri Lankan fast bowler, later became the national fast bowling coach and was a member of the 1996 World Cup winning team. The present Sri Lanka Cricket Chief Executive Officer Ashley De Silva was also one of the best products of St. Joseph's, who kept wickets for the national team. Angelo Matthews, Dimuth Karunaratne, Tisara Pereira and Roshan Silva were in the same St. Joseph's team later, did the national duty, while 2 national under-19 cricketers, Dunith Vellalage and Siobhan Daniel, are the latest additions to the national team. And Daniel and Michael Van Dort, 2 former Test openers, while Jehan Daniel and Aishian Daniel, the off-spinners, next in line to the national team, are products of St. Joseph's, while we can't forget 2 talented Virat Kohli brothers, Rohan and Ajit, who played for the Sri Lanka A team. Carlton Bernardes, the former St. Joseph's coach, always will be remembered for his superb service, while another Josephian, Harsha De Silva, was the former national women's coach. With that, we conclude sports news and take a look at business news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB I Am, a plan for your dream.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
HNB Assurance PLC celebrated the first anniversary of its groundbreaking Women Empowerment Program. This initiative, designed to uplift and support women within both the insurance industry and the company, aims to foster gender equality and diversity. Launched on 8th March 2023 in celebration of International Women's Day, it has exemplified HNB's Assurance's commitment to create an inclusive workplace and empowering women to excel in their careers. The program's first-year celebration was held at the Royal MAS Arena and set the stage for a continued journey of empowerment and growth. That came to you in Business News. Economic News up next.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news, Sri Lanka is showing signs of stability and recovery from a deep economic crisis. Data shows that Sri Lanka's inflation significantly declined from 69.8% to 4% between September 2022 and December 2023. Foreign exchange reserves have increased to $4.4 billion in 2023 from $1.9 billion in 2022. Sri Lanka's economic growth returned to positive territory in the second half of 2023, and that momentum is likely to continue, the Asian Development Bank said. Meanwhile, the ADB has launched a new country partnership strategy for Sri Lanka, covering the period 2024 to 2028. The strategy will focus on restoring the country's macroeconomic stability, reviving growth, and establishing the foundation for sustainable recovery and resilience. That's economic news.
Weather report.
The Met Department says a change in the prevailing dry weather of the island can be expected by tomorrow. Several spells of showers will occur in the eastern, Uva and northern provinces. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the western, Sabrugamo, central, Uva, southern, northwestern and north central provinces during the afternoon or night. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the Sabrugamo and central provinces, also in the Gaul and Matara districts during the morning. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precaution to minimize damage caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. This weather report was published this evening at 7:30 p.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The President emphasizes that in the journey of the country's modern agri-economy, the Mahaweli A and B zones should be developed at a rapid pace. The opposition leader says the SJB, as a responsible opposition, has clearly understood the gravity of the economic crisis and proposes healthy solutions to overcome these challenges. State Minister tells IMF that government is ready to make ongoing economic reforms a law. The Parliamentary Solidarity Forum focuses attention on the present situation of the Dilupatana village located in the Mahaweli South Zone. The COPF recommends deferment of the CBSL salary increase. Partily elected chairman of Ways and Means Committee for the second time. Sri Lanka sees a spike in tourist arrivals this year. 3 criminal gang members arrested in special STF raids. South Korean tanker capsizes off Japan and 8 crew members dead. In school cricket, the Joes out to end the 15-year wait in the Battle of the Saints. That concludes tonight's news broadcast.